This program and its contents are designed for information and educational purposes only. This program does not render medical advice or professional services and is not intended to be a substitute for professional care. The information provided here should not be used for the purposes of diagnosing or treating a medical or psychiatric condition. If you have or suspect you may have a health problem, consult your healthcare provider.
This program is brought to you by Movement Solutions and Soaring Wings Vineyard and Brewing. Welcome to Positive Momentum TV. I'm Diane Silva, and today my guests are Captain Jim Shaw of Soaring Wings Winery and Brewery and Matt McKenna. We're going to continue our discussion on aviation. And one of my more extensive anxiety attacks while flying was we were in holding over St. Louis. Would you explain what holding is? You know, I envisioned myself just hanging there in the middle. I mean, I know that wasn't what it was, but you know, you get people with anxiety have very creative minds. So I'm just sitting there, you know, envisioning me just kind of hanging there, and I got sick. So would you explain what holding is?
First, holding occurs for a couple different reasons.
Okay.
It almost always is due to some delay to be able to get to that airport.
Okay.
And it could be weather at the field, the airport's closed, and they do shut down operations at fields sometimes if there's like a thunderstorm right over the field, safety.
Right.
So if you're holding, that's not a bad thing.
No.
It means you're waiting for that field to clear out. The other thing could just be just too many airplanes trying to come in someplace and they put you in holding. Holding is a way to delay your arrival. And all it is you hit a point and you're making circles in the sky.
Okay.
You're just flying. We call it a racetrack pattern. Have you ever seen a horse racetrack? It looks like that.
Okay.
And we just hold there until it's time to come in. You know, you only have so much fuel to hold, and the pilots are very aware of that and know that if your fuel gets to a certain point, well, we'll have to go someplace else if we can't get into our destination right now. So you know, if you don't land at your destination, it means the pilot's made a safe decision to land someplace else rather than risk running out of gas trying to get to that airport. Most general aviation accidents are usually running out of fuel accidents.
Oh, okay.
Not as experienced, low-time pilots who are not experienced, thinking they can make it, trying to get home, we call it get-home-itis, and not playing it real safe, so.
Gotcha. Did you have some questions?
Yes, if we could go back to the icing situation. There was an incident, I think in 2009, 2008, up in, I believe, around the Buffalo area, up in New York, where plane went down because of icing, and they recovered the black boxes and found out that the co-pilot, who was fairly new, was really trying to talk to the captain and let him know about the icing, and he kept kind of brushing off as, it's fine, it's fine, it's fine. Well, you know what happened. And I'm curious, what have they done to correct issues like that?
Well, that particular aircraft had icing boots, and they aren't the most effective way to take ice off the wings. But there was also some training issues, both with the captain, actually more with the captain than the first officer. They hadn't been taught how to recover aircraft from stalls.
I see.
And I think the private pilot training now has been changed to do extensive stall training now.
Yeah,
right?
It's nonstop stalls, yeah.
See, I didn't get that much. I did get that when I did mine, but it was extremely extensive when I was in the Air Force training. We went into the spin training, departure control flight, because as military pilots, you fly on the edge a lot. On civilian pilots, you're not supposed to fly on the edge.
Sure.
So those things have been addressed on the airline issue with stall training and recovery from stalls in simulators. In addition, they actually increased the amount of hours that are required to get to be a first officer on an airline. So I think you have to have an ATP now to do that. So we didn't used to have that. You could have a person with 200 hours and a commercial license come in and jump in the right seat and fly passenger.
So what about the chain of command aspect? It was always kind of known that if you were a co-pilot, that you don't question the captain.
Oh, I don't agree with that at all. I was being a safety person, of course. If my first officer says something, I'm all ears. And one of the things I brief my first officers with, don't ever let yourself feel uncomfortable. And if you want to add an extra layer of safety on, you want to go farther away from that thunderstorm or whatever, I'll add that layer of safety on. But I won't take a layer of safety off. You know, we'll go at least as safe as I feel comfortable with, but we'll go even farther away from that storm if you like. So captains need to be really cognizant of what their first officer is saying and listen to them. It's more than just two people working together. There's lives at stake. So.
Perfect.
Yeah. Cool. Well, we've got a few minutes left. Is there any other questions or any other pointers that you'd like to bring up, or either one of you would like to bring up to be able to kind of wrap this up nicely? And
I can go on and on about this stuff, so I'll stop now.
Well, Diane, Matt, I think it's important you address your demons in this case, your anxieties. And learning how to fly, my first few flights, I have a fear of heights, by the way.
most pilots do. It's
Most
amazing.
pilots do. But when my first couple flights, I looked out that window, I went, oh my, that's a long way down, you know? But I got over it. And sort of like what you did, because I did enjoy flying, even though it kind of scared me initially.
Sure.
Right.
And
there's a healthy respect, I mean,
yes.
that you need to have.
Absolutely.
You don't ever want to completely get rid of that.
No, a healthy respect, even as a major airline pilot, is something we always have. You know, we're always cognizant of the fact that, you know, you don't want to make mistakes. You know, we have lots of layers of safety, tons of layers of safety. I try to keep all those layers there at all time. I don't ever want to take any of them off, because the more blankets on top of me, safety blankets, the happier I am.
And we all want to go home. At the end of the day, we all want to be safe.
Exactly.
We want to enjoy ourselves, but we want to go home.
Yeah.
Well, great. One thing I would like to ask is, we're wrapping up this aviation part, and we're going to actually go into some questions and answers we had with some general aviation pilots on location. We'll finish that up. But I'd like to consider you to consider coming back next season, and we can talk more about different aspects of flying. And Matt will be more experienced. Maybe I'll go back. Who knows? Who knows what happens next season? But I do know we want to come back and continue with our aviation series, because there's always something in aviation that we're always curious about, and there's always something new. Oh. So if you'd at least consider it,
absolutely.
Start in the fall and consider that. And Matt, you as well.
Sure.
Cool. Well, thank you both so much for sharing your information. I'm hoping it helps you out there. If you have any questions or concerns, contact us at positivemomentumtv@gmail.com. Also, soaringwingswinery.com.
Soaringwingswine.com.
Soaringwingswine.com. We'll have the website up. I can't ever get anything right sometimes. And we also have a fear flying support group. We'll put the information out there as well, and Matt's going to join us in this. And we also have one other pilot that's going to come on, and that's over at Eppley, opposite the terminal in the general aviation side. So I look forward to seeing you there. Thank you very much for watching Positive Momentum TV. Have a great day. This program is brought to you by Movement Solutions and Soaring Wings Vineyard and Brewing.